Greetings! So in today's video I want to update my swatch sheets of the Roman Szmal range. I have 3 new colors here and I have a couple of colors that I didn't add to the charts when I got them. So I kind of want to update the charts I have and add these colors so that I can use the charts in the most accurate possible way. I was able to purchase these thanks to the affiliate credits that I had on Jackson. So if you guys have been using my links to do your shopping on Jackson's, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It really helps. First, a bit of a context on these charts. I made these on cellulose paper and they have a piece of vellum on top with the pigment composition of the paints, and I can flip that over and I have all the colors on my charts because that way if I decide to add a color to my collection I can add it to the charts and I don't have to shuffle around swatches and all that. I've realized through making swatches on separate cards that there's a bunch of info in there that I don't personally use, such as liftability, opacity, and all that. What I often refer to is the name of the color, its number, if it has a number, its pigment composition, and how it looks. So I decided to put these together for the Roman Szmal range. I have 4 sheets, so almost 3 sheets of the initial colors that were released. Then I added the first batch of new colors, just at the end of it, just, you know, continuing and up to here. And then with every subsequent new release, I prepare a square in case I decide to get the color at some point, so I can just add it in. It's also a really useful way to reference what I have, what I don't have, and if people have questions about a specific color, I can see right away if I can possibly have an answer for them, because if I have the color, I might be able to answer their question, but if I don't have the color, it's gonna be a bit harder. So, like I said, all of these have the vellum on the back. I flipped them all over because I'm gonna be painting swatches today, so yeah, but they all have the vellum with the pigment. So yeah, that's since it's vellum, you can see through for the name of the color, you can see the pigment, and if you want to see the color without this layer of vellum on top, you just flip it back. It's pretty straightforward. So the first color I'm going to be adding, I think is going to be the only color on this first sheet. I've noticed that I don't tend to get as many yellows and reds in any color range as I do the other colors, so those are often the most bare pages. Not saying that there aren't any good colors available, it's just that I have to prioritize at some point, and once I have, you know, 1 yellow and a couple of reds, I'm good. Also, with when I was sent the first batch of additions to the range, there was a bunch of oranges in there, so that's why there aren't any orange per se on this sheet. Alright, so first color I'm gonna add is Quin Red, which is PV19. I realized that I don't really have, well, I didn't really have a sort of, I want to say neutral magenta color, in a sense that I have Quin Archidone Magenta, but it's very blue leaning, like it's more purpley magenta, and I wanted one that sat more in the middle between, you know, this and a more reddish color. So I got this one. My favorite pigment for this kind of color is usually PV42, but Roman Szmal doesn't have it, and they don't have that many sort of neutral-ish magenta color. Quin Red is just about the only option for that specific hue within their range. So that's it. That's quite simple, right? Pretty straightforward. Sometimes you're trying to record a video and one of your old lady cats decide that she wants a bit of, you know, attention. That's fine, it happens. So I don't think I have any other color on this sheet. I'm gonna set it aside to dry. This also. I don't think I have any color on this one. I'm realizing that I have a double. Alright, now this sheet, do I have any colors on? I think this one is on here. This is German raw umber greenish. This one here is 125. 125. This is Italian burnt sienna. I just noticed that the color from this set that I hadn't swatched is the same as this one, so I'm not gonna be needing this. So this one is 120. Goes here, and this one I don't think is on this sheet. I think it's on this one. Yeah, this one would be here. Alright. So we have two colors for this sheet. I need to open these pans. Gotta be careful, but this is how I like to use, I like to open, sorry, Roman Szmal paints. They're very nicely packaged, so you have the hand-painted wrapper, and then this one, and then there's a, you know, a piece of parchment paper or wax paper on top of the pen itself. And now the most important thing to do is to make sure you label your paints. Because let me tell you, a bunch of unlabeled paints, that's not convenient. So I like to write the number. So this is color 120. On the other small side, I like to write the brand. So this one is Roman Szmal RS. On one of the broad sides, I like to write the number, sorry, the name of the color. So Italian, or just it, burnt sienna. And on the other broad side, it's Sharpie. It dries fast, but still. Yeah, so the last side I'm going to be writing the pigment, which is PBR7. So that's one. And the other one, again, same thing. I'm going to be labeling it, so that's color 125. Szmal 125. Okay, the name is a mouthful. German raw umber greenish. And I think that's got to be a PBR7 too. Yes. So 125 we said goes there. I'm gonna be painting the swatches. So what I sometimes do when I don't take the time, because I always have the time, but sometimes I don't take time. I will unwrap the pans, label them, but kind of forget to swatch them on my reference charts. So it's not the most useful habit. It's very easy to forget you have a color, because I'm not very put together. So sometimes I will keep a pan like in the storage here and not with the rest of my pans, or I forget it kind of exists. And hasn't happened to me a lot, but I can easily imagine purchasing the same pan, you know, twice. I know that was a lucky drop. I know I already have that Italian burnt sienna in a set, but I think that's why I decided to get, oh, this is nice. I think this is why I decided to get the bigger pan, is that I really quite like the hue of that burnt sienna, and it's very easy to re-wet. So far, that's the thing that I'm really liking about the Roman Szmal earth tones. They're usually quite easy to re-wet. and they're not streaky or patchy or weak like some other colors can sometimes be. Not saying it's always the case, but you can kind of see on this page, like the colors, even on cellulose paper, they kind of all look good, right? None of them is like very bad. As always, the raw siennas are always patchy. I don't know why raw sienna is always patchy, but it tends to be more transparent, but also more difficult to lay evenly. And yeah, so I quite like having a greenish umber, and I like it in mixes a lot, so I was sort of looking for a good one, and I found this one, and so far I like it. And the last color to swatch are on this sheet. This one is already labeled, unwrapped and everything. It's Autumn Green. And this one is Blue Ridge Raw Sienna. Hopefully it's not gonna be super patchy. This is technically the same pigment number that is used for colors like yellow ochre, which usually look quite good. Let's swatch it, right? Best way to see is to swatch it. I'm really enjoying the hue of it so far, like the color itself. And it will be about seeing how it dries, if it dries with this weird patchiness. And the last color, but definitely not the least, Autumn Green. I'm super excited for the most recent color that is not available yet, but the Aquarius Violet. It looks really good in the photos we've seen online. I'll pop one right now. And that's Autumn Green. So technically my charts are all up to date. I want to take a moment to show you guys the Autumn Green color. I did a bunch of swatches in my sketchbook. So as you can see, I taped down the label here as a reference. And I did a swatch of the color under it so I can compare both. I happened to have the colors that compose this mix from the same brand. So these three are from Szmal as well. And I wanted to play with these colors to see how easy to mix this color is. Because on its own, it's a beautiful color. And I do not regret purchasing it as a convenience color one bit. It's super pretty. But I was talking with my friend Elodie, and she kind of introduced me to the concept of stretching a color mix. So if you have a mix that is these three colors, there's some interest in having the separate colors as well, because you can fine-tune the balance of pigments in the mix and have it lean more towards one of the pigments rather than the others. And that's what I did here. I did a bunch of mixes trying to get as close to this one initially. So I did this one first, not quite there. This one is pretty close. And then I did variations by stretching the color one way or another. So you can add more of the pink, which I think is what I did for these. I added more of the cobalt green for these two. And I did some more on the second page here, where I put again a base swatch as reference. So that's the pan itself. That's the way it is mixed in the pan. And then I used that as a base, and I added any of the other three pigment to it to kind of lean it one way or another. And I think there's some pretty interesting colors in there. You can get some sort of peachy colors in here. Like you can almost get a couple of good skin tone, slightly lighter and redder. And this one is a bit more tan, this one is a bit more dark. And you could always dilute these colors to make it, you know, lighter. You could probably also just add a lot of these two colors to really push this mix towards a more orange color. But yeah, overall, I really like this color. I like the texture of it. I think it looks amazing, and I like the possibility of you know, pushing it one way or another. That way you can paint a whole painting using just, you know, a few colors, and it's really cohesive and really interesting. My friend Elodie is really good at this, so I will have a link to her Instagram in the description. If you want to go check out her paintings, please do. She's super good. That's it for this little Roman Szmal video. I hope you found something interesting in it. Let me know if you have any questions or any comments, and if you are interested in getting any of these colors. I will put a link to my Jackson's affiliate in the description. Like I said in the beginning, if you decide to shop using my link, it helps me a lot. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and see y'all in the next one. Bye!